Okay, hello, welcome. I am Martina and I'm here with Christina. Christina, do you want to say hi? Christina, you might be on mute. You're on mute.
Hello, everyone. I am now unmuted.
Very good. And we're your podcast hosts for Everyday Ordinary, Extraordinary Women. And, we were inspired to create this podcast after pondering on this question. What would the world look like where we can be inspired by every person? Our immediate way of being is to just compare and judge. And when we do that, there's always somebody losing. There's always somebody losing. And depending on my point of view, I can either feel very, very small, or I can just be snobby and arrogant and dismissive. I know I've been both many times in my life, right? And unfortunately, those are the only two options from that place when we judge and compare. And here's our thought. Someone's everyday normal is someone else's extraordinary. Judgment comes from first impressions. And we invite you, the listener, to go beyond those first impressions and to see the magic everywhere, to really listen for the beauty and the power that is out there. And there is inspiration at every corner, in everyone, if we're willing to look. So today we have Andrea here, and I'm so happy for you to be here. Do you want to say hi? Do you want to share a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes, hi. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to be here in your space. Yes, my name is Andrea, and I am originally from Mexico, from the Yucatan Peninsula. My grandparents lived here in the US, so I came as a teenage girl. And right now I am married. I have two sons. One started college and the other one high school. So we are excited. My husband is from Peru. His name is Carlos. And we also have a dog. His name is Marshmallows, who he's like another son. He thinks he's a human. And I work in a fast food restaurant, a general manager. And we live in Connecticut.
And you're also a closet poet, right?
Yes. I love to write poetry. So when I was a teenager, I started writing poetry about love, about teenage love. And the words just would come. I would write them in Spanish. So once I was here, I would always want to write in English, but nothing would come. And so a couple of years ago, I started writing in English, and I love to write. The words just come, the phrases just flow, and so yeah, I would like to do a book. So I'm trying to get as many poems as I can to be able to do that.
I cannot wait for that book. I really cannot wait for the book. And if I think about you immediately, I have a smile on my face, like your sweetness and your willingness and your courage is just so exciting. It's just really so exciting. And that's part of what I really love about you. And so I'm really excited to have you here and share with us, what I'm going to say, what makes you tick, kind of. So let me just ask if you could finish that sentence for me. If you really knew me, you would know. What would we know if we really knew you?
If you really knew me, you would know, yes, that I love to write poetry, that I love obviously being just in that family environment, and that I love tea too.
Beautiful. So you're
Hold on a
romantic.
second, Christina. Hold on a second. There's one more thing. You also would know that she's very, very intuitive, and that her poems are actually I almost want to say spirit talking.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
wow. Really, really deep. So, since we're on this love and romance kind of vibe, right? Why don't you tell us about a time you took a chance on love?
A time I took a chance on love would be, I think, when my husband and I met and started going out. So we met, obviously working at the fast food restaurant, um, and we dated for 6 months, and then we got married. So my family was like, "What?" So everybody was surprised. So they were like, "What? You guys are young." We were 22, I think. And so everybody was like, "What? It's too soon, and you guys are too young." But I don't know. I had this feeling that I had never had with anyone before. It was just very strong, a very strong love for him. And this year in January, we turned 25 years of being married. And I wrote a poem about that. So it's beautiful.
What a
Wow.
beautiful love story. Yeah. It's interesting because you talk about your poetry, that the love theme, but that they're also the spirit guided too. And it sounds like your love story is kind of the same, right? Like you intuitively knew that that was the right match and took a chance on that. It's really beautiful.
Yes. Thank you.
It's really exciting. Isn't that the best? I mean, you get married at 22 and 25 years later, you're still so in love. It's such a testament to what you've created. That in itself is just so inspiring. I'm like, so exciting. So tell us something funny or something silly or something embarrassing.
Oh, something silly, something embarrassing. Well, one, I am clumsy, so I always like sometimes I just act out of, I don't know, like I always tell my kids I'm on like fairyland and la la land, and and they're like, yeah, like like going with my wand and stuff. But then you're like, oh wait, no, it's just like real life. We have to be, we have to act proper. But something funny, I don't know. I asked Alejandro, my son, yesterday, and I go, Alejandro, something funny. And so he goes, Mom, why don't you say the story when you burnt the spaghetti and you made us eat it? And I'm like, I didn't even remember that story. But they were young. I think Alejandro was probably like 8 or something. So I had done spaghetti and I was warming it up, and I don't know what happened that I burnt it, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys have to eat it. That's it. We eat what we have, so that's it. So he's like, what? And so he had never seen like burnt spaghetti, and for him, it's amazing that he still remembers right now at 19.
You traumatized him for life.
Believe me, he checks the spaghetti every time I give it to him.
Yeah, but that's what kids get traumatized for life, right? It's like they're so dramatic sometimes too. So,
Andrea, what would you say your superpower is?
My superpower, I think, would be when I get really calm, because I say I'm the kind of person that is always overthinking everything and every aspect of what could happen. But when I really calm my mind and I like myself, I think I can feel like how the other person is really feeling. Like yeah, you can be talking to me and being like all happy and stuff, but I can feel like really truly what's in your heart. Like when I'm really in tune with myself. That's, I think, it happens to me at work, when I talk to the people, to the coworkers and stuff, like when they come to me, so like I can feel what they're going through.
An empath at
You're,
its best,
I was
right?
just gonna say another empath. Yes.
So what do
And
you
so, and
do?
how do you calm yourself? Like, what is it that you,
I think one, I pray. I say a prayer, and then I say, God, Heavenly Father, help me to calm my mind, and then I breathe, and then and I start relaxing myself, my mind, and just thinking as whatever environment I am on, try to just see the good things around it, to calm myself, and then I start like feeling this calmness, the sense inside me. So yeah.
such a beautiful practice. And I'm sure it's a gift you give your whole team too. So I'm sure some of that have learned from you. Some of your team have learned how to calm themselves and do the same from your inspiration.
Yes, I work in a fast food restaurant, so it's very hectic and it's very loud and stressful. And so one of the things, and there's chaos, and sometimes we don't see eye to eye, all the time. So one of the things like I do with them is like, okay, guys, let's just get through whatever rush we're going, and we're gonna be okay. And so they feel that, like, I don't know, I see how everyone know they're like more on a calm, like, okay, yes, we're working and we're not fighting or we're not arguing, because you looked at me or you didn't say please at that moment. So they're like, they go into like the Zen mode.
It's a real gift you give the whole team. It's really beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the calming your mind is a gift not just to you but to everyone else, and it's probably one of the most challenging things that we have to deal with, right? Because it's like it takes so much to say stop, not that thought, no thank you, there is again, no thank you, stop, until we get to the point where I'm like, okay, good, okay. And the prayer definitely helps. I find that's a big plus. So what fills you up? And it's similar to what Christina asked, right? Because it is like the prayer that helps you calm down. But what fills you up? What nourishes you?
What nourishes me? I think my family does. And I wrote a poem about it. We were traveling from Merida, from the Yucatan state, into Cancun, because we were going back to Connecticut. We were flying back to Connecticut. And that moment, like, it was the four of us in the car, and I wrote a poem about it. The suitcases were right behind, in the back part. And I look on the rear view mirror, and I see my boys, and then I see my husband. And this thought just came to me, like, this is heaven, right here, all of us together in this moment. This is heaven, and sometimes we take that for granted. We're on the rush of our mind, like, oh my God, we got to get to the airport, we got to do this, we got to do that. But sometimes, I think God gives us these moments where we have to look and pay attention and be present and understand, like, hey, you have these blessings. You have, this is, this, for me, this is heaven right here, all of us together. That's special for me.
Agreed. Anything else that fills you up? Like when you're not with your family and you're not at
When
work,
I am not with family, my poems that I write, the thoughts that all of a sudden, the phrases that come through. And lately, the tea, like, when I talk about tea, is like, it has showed me to also appreciate being in this moment, because, like I said, I always I overthink a lot, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, what's going to happen this year, and what's going to happen if this and this. So my mind is always like, but with tea, it has come to like being parallel with the poems, like complementing, like the phrases, the poetry, and also like I've learned, like, with tea, like each step that you do with the tea is like so beautiful. Like, you don't
the whole
realize.
ritual of the process.
Yes, it's amazing, and it just helps you be present and appreciate really that moment that you are in with whatever it is.
I love that. It's really profound to find the beauty in each step of that process and allow that to be another tool to calm you and settle you. Very profound.
Thank you.
All right, so you talked about a magic wand before. If you had a magic wand and could give people anything, what would you want to a quality or anything, what would you want that to be and why?
I think it would be love and probably appreciating or being more in tune with where we are, and whatever situation we are, even the struggles. I think for me, also going through struggles throughout my life and with my family, it has helped me to appreciate, the good things and those good moments, and how much love plays into every step of our lives and into every moment of our life. So if we see each other, or if I see you with love, I can connect with you, not only like, talking or thinking, but mostly from my heart to your heart.
I mean, if I think about it, it's just so delicious just thinking about it, right? Because there is no wrong, there is just you. And if I can stand in love, appreciation is right there. There's really not much you need to do when you stand in love.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yummy. So what was your biggest lesson? What made you who you are today?
What made me who I am? I think the experiences that I've gone through in my life, from young.
Is there anything specific that
Well, one, like very grateful to my dad. My mom passed away when I was 12. So from there, and we used to live in Mexico. So that from there we moved here to the United States. So him being a big pillar in our lives, always from him, I've gotten being positive, no matter what struggles you go through, you shake it off, you be positive, and you think that the best outcome will happen. So from him, I've learned that, and trying to, like, with whatever struggles I've had after that, even in, once I had kids, that things will work out. My faith also plays a big part in my life, and my husband and my kids are a big part in my life, and my family. My sisters are very close to my sisters, which I love them. They're like my psychologist sometimes. When I'm like with my teenage boys, I'm like, oh my God, this is what happened. So I go to them and they're like, okay, calm down. But I think family is important.
Agreed. So if time and money weren't an option, who or what would you want to be when you grow up, or what would you want to do, or like if you could do anything, if there are no limitations on life, like what would you want to do?
What would I want to do? I would love to have like books of poems, being able to have my poems, for people to read them, to relate to them, to help them, and also some kind of a place. I would love to have a place where people could gather and we would be able to do tea and do like sound tools, things that could, like, I don't know, nourish your heart.
I love that idea. I want to come play. Yeah.
When I have it, I will have it. I will invite you.
Yes, we will be at the grand opening.
Yes.
Yes, please. Absolutely. So in that line a little bit, like, what do you want to be remembered as, or who do you want to be remembered as?
I would like to be remembered as someone that, was always spoke with her heart, was genuine and shared her love and nourished that other person with her love, from my heart to your heart, and if right now the poems that I write can do that with people, to me that's like I already won, like that's, I came to accomplish something probably the Heavenly Father, put in my path, you know. That's one of the things that I would love to do, through my poems, through my experiences for people.
Mm.
Is there a timeline for your book of poems? Or maybe there's another way instead of a book of letting people know about your poems. I mean, it's just like, can you please?
I know. I am trying to see if, I don't know, if putting them online, or do I have to do a book? Because I have some of them in English and some of them in Spanish. So I was reading that maybe you need like 30 poems to do a book at least. I mean, I have them in both languages, but but just English or just Spanish, I don't have them. I had in Spanish, but I lost them when I moved. So I was like, that's one of my regrets. Because I used to write, and so I would write them in a little paper, and then in another little paper, and then I would put them in notebooks, and then I lost them. So I'm like, ah. But I'm hoping, I don't know, finding a way of, I don't know if I could just put them out there or waiting to put them in a book. I don't know what would be the best.
You know what just popped in my head, and like I'm just talking at the top of my head here, right? It's like, what if you would just go on YouTube and read them, right? Like you could read your poems. How beautiful would that be? Like people get your essence, get your beauty, get your voice, get your poems. It's like, oh wow. Just thinking about giving me the chills. So, you're gonna do with it whatever you want to do it with it, but I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you. Yeah, I might think of that.
Yeah. And if anyone has some suggestions, let us know. Contact us. If you have a way for Andrea to publish her poems, then let us know. Yeah. So Andrea, last question. What's the biggest lesson you've learned in life?
The biggest lesson I learned in life is to trust in God, to trust in your loved one, to trust that things will work out. I'm actually writing a poem about my sons, and how being a mother is, and to one of the phrases that came to me when I'm trying to, I don't have it all together, but is to trust in God, and in that to trust in Him. If trusting in God helps me to trust in my sons, because I overthink, oh no, this could happen, or this could happen, but letting go and trusting.
Beautiful. Actually, let me ask one more question, Christina.
Well, I was going to ask if you had one more question. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't know which one should I pick. I have two, so I'm going to let you pick. Okay. What are you most proud of, or what do you consider? Well, it's the same actually. What do you consider your biggest accomplishment? It's more or less the same, but
my biggest accomplishment would be to be a mom, because when I lost my mom at 12, and when after that I always worried, like, oh my God, who's going to teach me to do things, like from shaving my legs, and God has a way of knowing exactly what you need, because in every phase of my life He has put a woman figure. My dad remarried, so she is my mom now, and I love her so much. But my aunts came through in each step of my life, and ladies that helped me take care of my boys. But at a very specific time where I needed someone, they came through. And the other is being a mom. When I was pregnant with my oldest son, Alejandro, like a whole bunch of worries came through, like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Like, who's going to teach me? But things like worked out. Like, it's amazing how, you go through one phase and then you go through another phase. Like, it's not all at one time. So you go through, the toddler phase, and then, as they grow, the 5 years and things like that. So I think that's the biggest lesson of being a mom for me.
Beautiful.
Really beautiful.
Actually, I was thinking, can I put you on the spot? Do you have a poem that you could read for us?
Yes, let me find.
And sorry for putting you on the spot. I just was thinking that would be so beautiful if you could do that. Like, to finish, to wrap up the call, I think that would be so beautiful.
That's fine. I can do the one that I did for the one that I was mentioning when we were traveling from Merida to Cancun. And it's called The Simplicity of Love. I observe, my heart fills with love and gratitude. A thought rushes my mind. This is heaven. Gazing through the rearview mirror, the trunk full of suitcases, endless driving hours, yet all of us together. Sharing stories, laughter, singing in out of tune voices, pondering, settling our thoughts, looking forward to the road ahead, the road of life. New chapters, adventures, new beginnings, yet in this moment together. My heart filled with joy, cherishing the simplicity of love. This is heaven. So just to see, to pause in that moment and realize, how blessed we are. Sometimes we're like, oh, I need this, or if I had this. But if we would just pause in that moment and realize how blessed we are of everything that we have, like the simple things, the simplicity,
I think that's such a perfect way to end this the session today, with that reminder, right, of cherishing those simple moments in life. And I thank you so much for the love that you brought to our call today, and that message to really cherish those moments, every moment, right? And not step over those little ones on the way to where we think we're getting to. It's really a really beautiful reminder for all of us. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with us today, and to engage in this conversation with us. We really cherish you taking your time out of your busy schedule. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you everyone for listening today. If you loved this, please leave us a review or share with your friends. And please always remember that you are extraordinary and you rock. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye for now.